All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome. Special Memorial Day edition of our Cepeda Zoom presentation. Tonight we'll have a special guest sharing her story, and I think you're going to find it to be very, very impactful. I know I did. And then after her presentation, I'll go through kind of a regular presentation, go through some of the products and the business opportunity behind this, and then I'll wrap up for those of you that are already involved in Isagenix with a little bit of training at the very end. It'll be very, very short. We'll be in and out 30 minutes in the presentation, maybe 5 minutes in training. So if you want to stick around for the first 10 minutes or so for this great testimonial, I highly suggest you do that. It is going to be good. Next week, we have the infamous Krang Su Shin, who will be my guest. Before we get into tonight's presentation, it's very, very important that we help everyone understand that we run this company, as does the corporate office, on complete integrity. We're very serious about compliance. And so whenever you do a presentation like this, you want to have this disclaimer. Feel free to screenshot this, print this off, but basically it's going to say two things. Number one, we don't claim to heal, treat any kind of disease or anything like that. Basically, if you want to know more about the products, you want to go to isagenixhealth.net or the particular website of the person that invites you to watch this presentation. Also, on the income side, we're not going to talk a whole lot about the business opportunity tonight. Is more a focus on the product and the life-changing aspect of that, but there is an income side of this business, and we will touch on that a little bit tonight. And so again, you need to realize this is not some get-rich-quick program or anything like that. It's a legitimate home-based business. In my opinion, the best I've ever seen. But to learn more about those details, again, you get back with the person that invites you, they can give you a video that goes over the comp plan in more detail. You can also go to isagenixearnings.com to learn more. So with that being said, I want to wish all of you a very, very happy Memorial Day. And if you have someone in your family genealogy or someone you know that has paid the ultimate price for our country, our thanks and sincere best wishes go out to you and the family. Tonight, we've got a very special guest speaker. Had the privilege of just getting to meet Kathy recently. And I'll tell you, when she shared her story with me, I just said, I've got to get you on one of our Monday night calls. It's a story that I think is going to impact a lot of people and give a lot of people hope. So Kathy, why don't you take the next 7, 8, 9 minutes, whatever you want to take here, just kind of just share people your story, and just like you do with me, it was phenomenal. So ladies and gentlemen, this is Kathy Waldrep.
Thanks, Chuck. I'm happy to share, but I want to start out saying that I'm not making any medical claims, though I will be sharing some details of my unusual medical story. 19 years ago, I suffered a very rare complication in childbirth that is usually found on autopsy. I had a massive heart attack. It was caused by a tear or a dissection in my left coronary artery, one of the main arteries for the support of the heart, and it resulted in quadruple bypass surgery. Now, ejection fraction is the percent of blood pumped out of the heart with each heartbeat into the rest of the body. A normal person's ejection fraction is 55 to 70%. If your ejection fraction falls below 35%, then you're put on blood thinner to prevent clots from forming in your left ventricle and causing strokes. At the time of my heart surgery, my bypass surgery, my ejection fraction was in the teens, and I had 3 to 4 clots sitting in my left ventricle. The doctors told my husband that if I survived, I would be bedridden for life based on the amount of damage to my heart. But thankfully, God had other plans. Although my ejection fraction did return as high as 45% over the next year, I still needed 1 to 2 hour naps every afternoon. And if I went more than 1 to 2 days without a nap, I would have chest pain that required 1 to 2 days of rest to try to reset. My cardiologist gave me a heart rate limit of 125, saying going over that would potentially cause more damage to my heart, because what was normal activity for other people was overworking mine. And with that limited energy, I have been able to homeschool our 5 kids through high school, but I also had my husband and children, they had to take over almost all of my chores around the house, and I missed a lot of activities and events. So that's been the status quo until about 3 years ago, when things started to decline. I had decreasing energy and stamina. My heart rate was spiking more often. My ejection fraction dropped to 40%. And all of this is what the cardiologist expected. He just expected it much sooner. By January of this year, I could barely walk a mile, and my heart rate, some days doing dishes at the sink, would go to 117. I was pretty discouraged. That's an understatement. And then I remembered a Facebook post from one of my longtime friends who'd been using the nutrition I found later for 6 years. And what I remember about her post was she said it had increased sustained energy. And at that point, that was my lifeline. If I could have just a little bit more energy, it would change the quality of my life. So as a desperate skeptic, I reached out, I checked with my doctor, and I started the nutrition toward the end of January. Oh my goodness. Within 3 weeks, I saw amazing changes. My brain fog, which I thought was part of aging, lifted. So it turns out it was optional. I had pounds and inches that were dropping off with no diet. I could walk within that first couple of weeks. I could walk 2 to 4 miles with no heart pain. No, my heart rate doing great. I did not need naps, and I didn't have chest pain if I skipped my naps. If you can think of what it would be like to suddenly get an extra 2 hours a day of productive time in your life, then you can imagine what a gift this has been for me. And also, I had greatly increased energy. My 19-year-old daughter told one of her brothers that she has never seen me with this much energy, ever. And my husband tells people now that he feels like he's gotten his wife back, that he hasn't seen me with this much energy and vitality in decades. So in April, I go in for my annual cardiologist checkup, and I had been on the nutrition for 3 months. So he was very pleased. My heart sounded great. My weight loss he was very pleased with that. And actually to date, I'm down 29 pounds and 33 inches. However, my EKG in the office had something that was slightly suspicious. And it could be, in his words, an early sign of bypass failure. So he ordered a nuclear stress test to be sure. The life expectancy of bypasses is 10 to 12 years. However, I didn't have heart disease and diabetes, which most people do when they have bypasses. However, when you have veins doing the work of arteries, they wear out. So I go in for my treadmill, the hospital. They inject the dyes, they do the scans, and they put the 12, 15 wires all over and strap me into the treadmill, and I start walking. And if you haven't had one of these done, it raises every so many minutes in height and in speed. And they are stressing your heart, and they're watching all your vital signs. He watched very closely, concerned that things were going to go bad very quickly. But instead, I made it all the way to the end of what he wanted to see, and I still had energy. My heart rate did great. My blood pressure did great. I had no chest pain, no discomfort, and I wasn't out of breath. And that suspicious thing on my EKG disappeared, and it never came back, even after I was resting. So he's looking at the printouts, and he's just astounded. And he said that obviously my bypasses or collaterals are doing tremendously well, and the printouts look wonderful. So he wanted to look at the scans, and he compared the scans of my heart before and after exercise. He compared those to the nuclear stress tests that I'd had done over 16 years ago and all my other records. And then I got the results. He said there's no new heart damage. So I do have heart damage, but it's 19 years old. My ejection fraction, are you ready? It went up. It went up to 48%. And he raised my exercise heart rate to 155. Changed my world. I would love to know the statistics on a 54-year-old, almost 54-year-old cardiac patient with 4 19-year-old bypasses with heart damage. in a downward spiral of health and improving in this short of time to this degree. And I do want to be clear, this is only food. This nutrition is not intended to cure, prevent, or treat illness or disease. But the only thing I changed, only thing was my nutrition in January. These results have been life-changing for me, and I've been transformed from the inside out, and I'm just so thankful. And that's my medical story.
Kathy, I appreciate that very much, and the sincerity, and it radiates from you. I want you to share something that you told me that I think will be very impactful also. You had found this solution. In 3 weeks, you knew this was your solution for life when it came to nutrition. You told me that the other day. But you said something that also impacted me. Your husband, I don't remember if it was downsized or what exactly happened, but can you kind of share that story with everybody and how you're able to stay on this program even though you're, at the time of going through a little bit of a difficult situation?
Yes. So at 3 weeks, I'm seeing the lifeline, the life-changing changes, and I knew this was my lifetime nutrition. And my husband was downsized. So at the time, I went to Ellen, the person who had enrolled me, and I said, I love this. This is amazing, life-changing, but I'm not going to be able to continue until he is able to have another job. And she said, do you mind if I show you how you can eat for free? Well, I of course wanted to, but I didn't want to sell anything. And she said, you don't sell anything. All you do is share how this is changing you. And you help people connect to be able to have the same opportunity that you've had to have life-changing nutrition work in their life. So I took a step of faith and I did start to share, but that wasn't hard. I would have shared regardless as this became more dramatic. And this generous company has given bonuses and residual income that has allowed me almost immediately to eat for free. And then we've been able to add money to our income, and it's just a blessing. So.
Well, I appreciate you sharing that. I want to give you one more opportunity here. I saw a post you did today on Facebook, and I know you're part of a group of West Point moms, and I just want to give you an opportunity to reach out to those moms and wish them all happy Memorial Day, and especially your friend here that you mentioned. If you go ahead and do that as we close up on your segment of the presentation.
Well, for all of you who also have people serving, I understand, and I'm praying for you guys, and I'm supporting you all. But those who have lost someone that is so special, like a husband or a son or a daughter or a wife, we just say we're so sorry, and we support you, and thank you for what this country means, and that we have people that are willing to stand in the gap for us.
All right. Thank you very much, Kathy. You did a great job tonight. And I want to encourage all of you, if you're watching this short video testimonial, get back with the person who invited you. And if Kathy's the one who gave you this video, get back with her immediately and just congratulate her and thank her for stepping out of her comfort zone to impact lives around the world that will be impacted by this story. So Kathy, we all thank you very much. In fact, I'm going to do something a little bit differently here. I'm going to stop this recording, but before I do, I'm going to open up the lines and just let everybody express their gratitude to you as we just thank you for sharing tonight. So everybody, if you just thank her and tell her what a good job she did.
Great job.
Way to go, Kathy. Thank you so much for sharing your story. It was so impactful. Thank you.
It was beautiful.
Congratulations, Kathy.
Thank you, Kathy.
Inspiring.
Thank you, Kathy. Amazing.